Found out, Ray, that we can put a marketplace on Coach Accountable as well.
Oh, okay, good. All right, so we'll go ahead and get started. People should be coming in. You said there were no questions this time.
No, there's about three or four.
Oh, okay, okay. So all right, so that's good. So we can put some of the affiliates there as well. So that's good.
Yep. I spent a lot of time today with Coach Accountable. Spoke to the people out there and got a couple of things straight.
All right, so you guys, we did get a few questions, and so we'll go ahead and answer those questions. If you guys have any questions along the way, let us know. Dana's in the house, so we'll probably, unless you guys have questions, we'll probably be in and out in about 30 minutes. And so we should adjourn in about 8:30. And so we got a couple people on, Keith. As a reminder, we will be, I think, in DC this Saturday. We'll be in DC this Saturday looking at a few properties. So those of you guys that can attend, please do so. That property that I gave you, Keith, I think is going to be good. So we can start off. We can start off in Capitol Hill, and then I should have a 4-unit in Congress Heights that I'm selling. I'm actually selling both of those, and then I should have one more. But we'll definitely be in DC this Saturday. Tamika, I meant to call you or text you. I don't have any. I have a lot of interest, but like nobody's wanting to write contracts or anything. Just to let you know, and then we can talk strategy if you want after this call. All right, so we've got a few people on. Keith, why don't we go ahead and let me answer the questions, and then I'll just kind of touch on some of the deals that I've been seeing come my way, probably within the last week or so. And so,
Okay.
Keith.
Hello, everyone. Hey, Greg, I want to make mention. I think we have 2 new Inner Circle Club members. Got Kim. I think this might be her first time if she's on, and then Candace as well.
Yeah, Kim and Candace. Hello, Kim. Hello, Candace. So, Kim, I looked up that condo. That's not going to be good for us. As I told you on the phone, I think I looked it up anyway. As I told you, we don't really do a lot with condos. So I don't think that's going to be good for us. The condo. I looked up so many properties today. Now I can't remember. Yeah, on R Street Southeast. Yeah, but keep looking. Keep looking.
Right.
All right, Keith. What are the questions we have so far?
Okay. So Karen Parrish, who's not here, she has a wholesale opportunity. It's a vacant store with a multi-family attached. So she's just wondering how would she calculate the maximum allowable offer?
That's a tough one. You want me to answer that now or wait until she gets on, or she's not coming on?
She's not coming. She's out of town.
Oh, okay.
We can save that to next week or whatever.
Or okay, we can save it. But I mean, you kind of calculated the same way we do a residential property. You look for like-kind properties, mixed use, and then you go from there. If there's income coming in from the commercial property, you can count that in terms of like a cap rate. But primarily what I do on mixed use, and we don't deal a lot with mixed use, primarily in Baltimore. We see those in Baltimore. But I just immediately just try to look for like-kind properties, same square footage, same area, things like that, and see what they sold for.
Right. So, Greg, Tamika has kind of a related question, and you may have answered this to her earlier today. Can you speak to about how you would evaluate a commercial 5-unit building, 5+ units? She wants to know, are you using the Mayo formula for the offer amount or the cap rate?
Yeah, so anything commercial, we're using cap rate. And so those that don't know what cap rate is, you're basically using the financials of the property, meaning how much revenue is coming in compared to the all the expenses that are going out. And so with commercial, I mean, you could have expenses, of course, like mortgage, taxes, insurance, but then you've got like maintenance costs and could be some other things that you calculate. So it's a calculation. And then you take you get the percentage of that calculation, what percentage of that of those numbers is revenue, like your like your net operating expense and your net net income. You subtract your expenses from your income, and then that's your net profit. And then you compare. I used to know. I always had to look up the calculation, but I just know you try to get to, depending on the area, at somewhere around 6 or 7% cap rate. If it's a DC property, 6% is a good cap rate because you're getting some appreciation. Baltimore, you try to be over 10% cap rate because you're not getting a lot of appreciation. And then I can answer that better. Every time I have to calculate that, I always have to look up the exact formula. But I know it's basically you're taking the income and you're subtracting it by the expenses, and then you divide that by, I believe, what that property is worth or what you bought it for. And then that gives you a certain percentage, and that percentage is your cap rate. And so in Baltimore, on a multifamily or commercial property, I'm looking for, like I said, a cap rate of over 10%. And in DC, 6 is fine because houses in DC are appreciating. And so, Tamika, if you have a 7-unit in Baltimore, just call me, and we can work out the numbers together. I would want to know. You would need to get the rent rolls, and so we know the income that's coming in, like how many units are occupied, how many units are vacant. The ones that are occupied, we need to know how much rent they're paying. So that's all the revenues coming in, unless there's like revenue from, like, if there's a laundry room or anything like that. But all the revenues that's come in, and then all the expenses. It would be better if you could ask for like a P&L, a profit and loss statement, and maybe even tax returns. And then we can do the calculation. And I may have someone that's interested in that 7-unit. If you don't, I may have someone interested. Matter of fact, I know I have someone interested in that if you don't have anybody. But we can talk offline and just get real numbers. And then I can tell you what one should purchase that property for. All right. All right. Kim is saying she has a single family house. Oh, that's in probate. She gave the address. I'll be talking to the seller. Yeah, follow up with me on that one. That was a good one, Kim. I think that might be a good one. We do have to go through probate first because we really can't get anyone to sign a contract or a listing agreement unless we know who the personal representative is for the estate. But yeah, if you have any questions, but definitely call me before your appointment, so I can get you ready for your appointment. All right, what else we got, Keith?
So, Greg, a couple of our coaching students couldn't make the last lunch and learn, and so they just kind of want you to quickly go over how to maximize that wholesale deal. Using creative financial, the financial strategies there.
Okay. Is that the last question?
Yeah. It's the last one I have.
All right. So what we talked about Friday is a couple things. We talked about on the wholesale side. I'll just name. I can't remember what I talked about yesterday. So Friday, I think we talked about wholesaling. I'm just going to write this stuff down. Sorry. We talked about wholesaling. We talked about. We talked a little bit about subject to. We basically overall, and I think we probably talked about some seller financing.
Yeah, Greg, it was owner financing and lease option. Talked about, obviously subject to hard money, private lending,
All right,
joint
so
venture.
just to give you guys an example, um, here's some things that I've kind of changed my mindset in terms of wholesaling. Now, as it relates to wholesaling, what I'm trying to do, and we talked about this on Friday, is I try to wholesale, and not in all situations this works, but in a lot of situations, I'm trying to wholesale directly to an end buyer or a retail buyer. That's my goal now, to wholesale directly to a retail buyer, and so that's why it's called wholetailing as opposed to wholesaling. And I think maybe the next lunch and learn, I'll do the exact distinction between the two, so we're clear on that. Now, obviously, if we can surpass the cash buyer who needs to buy the property at 70% of the after repair value minus repair cost, if we don't have to deal with that and go directly to the retail buyer, not only can we now buy properties that don't fit the formula, we can actually make more money by going straight to the end buyer. And so the way I've been doing it is, as an example, I went and looked at a property today on Sheriff Road in Deanwood. And I know if Dana's on here, he's going to say that's his old stomping grounds. But and so right on Sheriff Road, Sheriff and Eastern Avenue. And I looked at the property, and this was my proposal. I don't know if I'll get it, but I said to the I don't know if she was the owner, I'm not sure, but the house needed a lot of work. And the numbers were close, but the numbers really didn't fit. And I said, as a business practice, what I do is I'll take over your I didn't even say this, but I'll take over your mortgage. I'll make I I'll do some renovations to the property on my dime. So I'll spend the money to do some light renovations, and my renovations are I'm just going to make it in move-in condition, and then I'm going to list the property. You and I are going to agree upon the amount of money either you want to sell it for or the amount of money you want to net. And she already told me that she wanted to sell the property for $275, which if the after repair value is $475, the numbers are close, but they don't really. And I don't even remember if those are the real numbers. She wanted to sell it for close to 500, and she wanted 275. No. ARV was 500. She wanted to sell it for 275. So the numbers are close. And so that was my proposal. I said to her, I'll fix the property up, and then we'll put it on the market. We'll list the property. And so in essence, that's really a subject to that will be wholesaled. And so that's surpassing the cash buyer, going straight to the wholesaler. Or if it was a property that really didn't need much work and was already in move-in condition, but it was old, dated, I could just clean it up a little bit and then put it on the market. Use I have a contract that allows for me to put the property on the market, not having to go out and get a loan, list the property, they agree upon the amount of the sale they want, and I can put my wholesale fee on top of that. I looked at another property, which we may be able to go see on Saturday. It's a 4-unit building. It's in Congress Heights, right on Mellon Street, right off of Martin Luther King. And I know, Dana, I know that's your old stomping grounds too. And so I actually wrote up a contract tonight. I just finished it. And so this was my proposal. They already proposed, well, they want, just to keep the numbers easy, they want 580. Well, they want 580. They have a first mortgage of 380. So there's already a mortgage on it for 380. They want 580. And so the difference is 200,000. And they want the buyer to bring 200,000 to the table. And their initial offer was that they'll keep the mortgage on the property. The mortgage payment is, let's just say, $2,000. And so this was my proposal to them. My proposal to them was, yes, we'll keep that mortgage on the property, but instead of me coming to the table with the $200,000, my offer was for them to do a seller take back or a second mortgage for that 200 at 0% interest. And if they go for that, which verbally they said they would, if they go for that, I'll just have a mortgage for 2 or 3 years at $2,000. One or two of the units will already pay for that, so everything else will be, will be profit. Their benefit is they're tired of being landlords. There's only one unit occupied, and that tenant hasn't paid. I put in the contract that they have to evict the tenant. So they get that property up from under them. They don't have to pay any capital gain taxes right now because they're not getting a lump sum of money. They're not paying off the mortgages, and they get to free themselves of, the burden of the debt and the burden of the 3 T's, the tenants, termites, and what's the other T? Toilets, termites, and tenants. And so verbally they said that they would accept it. And so all I'm doing is putting that deal together, and then I'm going to wholesale that deal. And so I'm going to put everything together. Hopefully they sign off on it. And then I'm going to put in an assignment agreement to what I just put together an additional, my thoughts are, because I ran the comps, an additional $50,000 and make a $50,000 wholesale fee for putting the deal together. Now it's four 1-bedroom units, but it's approved for, they have the back porches, so it's approved for 2 bedrooms. And so one could come in there and over a period of time renovate, make them 2 bedrooms, and it could be a slam dunk for them. That's just one scenario. I'm also looking at a property in Petworth where it's a probate deal, and it's a probate and a reverse mortgage. I think I mentioned this one on Friday. And so the reverse mortgage now is about $500,000, and it goes up every month because on reverse mortgages, the mortgage balance doesn't go down, it goes up because the interest gets tacked on top. And so I kind of proposed the same thing. I proposed to keep that mortgage on the property, let me come in and just clean it up. And when I say clean it up, trash it out, do some light demo, do kitchen and bathrooms, flooring, and paint. And that's really it. Pull no permits. Just make it look clean and good. I'm not doing any HVAC, no electrical. It has radiator heat, and it has some window units. Just make it in move-in condition. And then I have comps. I think this is the one where I have comps at after repair value comps are 2 doors down sold for $950. And so I figure I could sell move-in condition at $850. Now, and I have comps to justify that. And so if I'm able to sell it to move-in condition at $850, the neighborhood in Petworth, even though 2 doors down sold for $950, the entire neighborhood, there's comps at 1.3. And so one could live in a neighborhood that can stand 1.3 and just buy my property for $850. And so that's what I'm hoping I do. And so in none of these scenarios am I going out getting a loan. I'm just using different types of creative financing.
Hey, Greg,
acquire these properties.
Quick question. I'm just curious. I guess it's evident that there's enough of a demand for that end buyer to buy a property that's not quite up to like that Petworth instance. It's not quite a $900,000 house. It's maybe around 7 or 8. That there was enough of a demand that someone would take on that and then fix it up as they.
It's in move-in condition. To your point, though, there is a shortage of houses out here, and so that's one of the problems my realtors are having. Is there's multiple offers on listings, and they're getting priced out, and so there's escalation clauses, things like that, and so you're right. People will buy when one wouldn't think that they could get into a neighborhood like Petworth. Now they can, and they can move in, live in. I'll have new kitchen, new bathrooms, nothing fancy, but we'll have granite, the low grade granite. This one needs new cabinets. I will have stainless steel appliances, but like, what's it called? Kenmore, nothing fancy, but in great move-in condition, and then put it on the market and sell it, and then pay off the reverse mortgage. Seller wants a little profit, and then the rest will go to me. And so that's really doing some people would call that like a mini, either a mini flip or wholesaling or something like that, or doing a subject to and doing a quick flip. So those are just some examples of what I talked about on Friday and just how I'm thinking. I think we got a couple of questions. I just did one of those, but I did a full renovation. So Dana's saying he did the same thing. The problem with doing a full renovation is you're doing a full renovation, which means you've got to spend that money. The challenge is the strategies work, but the challenge is you don't want to spend as much money. You want to spend the least amount of money as possible, 30,000 at the most, sometimes 50, just to clean them up real good, just to get them on the market, pass a home inspection, but that's it. Because in my mind, when I'm really doing a lot of wholesaling, I'm averaging about $30,000 a wholesale deal. What I want to do is spend just a little bit of money and clean them up and average double that, $60,000. And so I'm not trying to hit any home runs, but I just want to double, my average without having to go out and get a loan, do a quick renovation, put it on the market, and get the property sold. And I think that's where we are in this market. Like there's a shortage of houses, but at the same time, I don't want to go through permits. Permits in DC are taking longer than they used to, and it's always been a long time. So permits are taking forever, inspections are taking forever. So I'm not circumventing the system. I'm just and it's the homeowner, because I never take title, and so the property is still deeded in their name. But my agreement says that I can go in and make some improvements. And then my agreement also says that I can put it on an MLS and list the property. And then they're happy. They're getting what they want. And then obviously I'm happy because I can do some small renovations, not have to go out and get a loan because interest rates are so high. And you got to put down 20%. And I can double my income by just fixing up. Now, we've always done this. You know, I gave some examples where Dana and I, a year or so ago, we did the same thing. And I shouldn't say this, but Dana made $100,000 on one of the deals, but he really did. And then I made good money. I made what I wanted to make as another wholesaler on the same deal. And so those are some of the examples of some of the creative financing. I mean, you guys have all heard of lease options, subject tos, owner financing. This is the market to do all those. And then you can combine to, like on the 4-unit building, they were already offering basically a subject to. I just put on top of the subject to seller financing. So I would have to come up to the table with a lot less money. And then hopefully by the morning, I'll have a ratified contract. And then I'm just going to sell that contract. Tamika is asking, let me just put this up here. Do you have any documentation to notate your interest in the property? And so for the most part, so you could do it either two ways. The answer is yes, but you can either do it two ways. You can take title to the property. You can take title to the property. I would only take title to the property if I'm going to hold the property. And so all these creative financing strategies, you can actually hold the property and rent them out. If you do that, I would just do a full-blown settlement. So the deed and it's titled into your name. Or if you're going to flip the property, there's no need to do that. But what I would recommend is putting some type of lien on the property so they can't sell the property up from under you in the 90 days that you have the property or 60 days that you have the property. But you would just put a lien on the property. Get the title company to put a lien on the property. The only reason is because I kept the property. Yeah. So Dana kept one of his. Any other questions? Let's see. Jade is so subject to, then sell it on the market. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. That's what you do. So Jade, if you find something, I mean, obviously all of you guys, you find something, and if the numbers are really tight, or if you want to maximize your efforts of the property, just let me know and I can help you put that deal together. But what I'm trying to focus on as a general rule for myself is trying to sell that property and not have to go through a cash buyer, which also means I'm trying to average $60,000 a deal, like a wholesale deal. I'm trying to average 60, which means in some cases, not all, but in some cases, I might have to put just a little bit of money into it and then, but not get a mortgage and then do a quick flip. Just put lipstick on it and do a quick flip is my goal. And by doing so, it may take an extra 30 or 60 days than what we're used to on a wholesale deal. But I'm happy to do that to double my money. So I'm happy to do that to double. And so that's kind of where I'm going. That's kind of where my mindset is in terms of investing, especially as we go into the new year. Unfortunately, interest rates, the market's not going to get any better. I hate to say it, but it's going to get, not for us, the investors, but really for the realtors, for the buyers, probably going to get worse. From what all the economists are saying, all the everything that I read. But for us, Because of that, there's lots of opportunities for the investor because unfortunately, people may be losing their jobs. The influx of REOs, foreclosures that we thought would be coming on the market because of the pandemic um, and the foreclosure moratorium, which was lifted, we haven't had the influx, but it's coming. It's coming. I talked to an investor friend of mine. He said he's stacking his money. He's really, really saving his money because he knows next year there's going to be a lot of opportunity and he wants to be able to take advantage, which means you guys have to put yourselves in a position to take advantage. And the number one way to take advantage is to find the deals. If you guys can just simply find the deals, we can figure out how to make it a deal, especially if it could be a deal or it could be close to being a deal. Now, if it's close to being a deal, we can make it a deal. Now, the challenge of making it a deal is, number one, we've got to go straight to the end buyer. But then number two, you've got to put a little bit of money into it. If you don't have that little bit of money, number one, I will have within a week a list of private lenders, or at least show you guys how to get access to private lenders that will lend 50,000, 100,000, no points. Most of them won't even charge a monthly payment, and the interest rates that they charge is like 10% for a private lender, really inexpensive. Now, when I say 10%, it's per annum, which means it's annualized, which means if it's 10% and you only keep that property for 6 months, you're only paying 5%. And if you keep that property for 90 days, you're only paying 2.5%. 2.5%. So the money is fine. And there's a number of us that will also lend or partner. We can partner with you. We're more than happy to do a joint venture or partner on some of these deals. You know, if you find them, we can put up the money. We'll partner. We'll split the profit. So we're more than happy to partner with you as well. But I'll also give you guys access. There's a national list of private lenders that you can borrow the money from, especially like if you're doing a subject to and you need the cash. You don't need the cash to acquire a mortgage because you're going to keep that mortgage on the property, but you may need some money just to do some light fix up if you don't have the cash. Where, well, you know, we have private lenders, and then within our own community, we've got people who will lend money and or partner with you. And so let's not let someone, I was talking to somebody today, one of my insurance agents, he said, yeah, I've got this property in Mount Rainier and it's not a deal. So I didn't even bother. And the more I talked to him, the more I was thinking that's a deal. And he said, the numbers are tight. I don't think it's a deal. I said to him, let me see it tomorrow and let me determine whether it's a deal or not. And then the more I talked to him, it looks like it's a deal. If we use some creative financing strategies, it looks like it's going to be a deal. And so, like, if you guys find some stuff, and the key to your success, you guys, is you've got to find these properties. You've got to do your marketing and whatever you feel comfortable with, networking, social media, driving for dollars, calling, cold calling, probate. I just got a probate list from Foreclosure Daily last week, where we're going to be calling the personal representatives. And so whatever that is, I don't know if I mentioned direct mail, but whatever type of marketing, auction properties. Marquise, he was in the office today. A colleague put a property from Ashland Auctions under contract, wholesaled it to him. They go to settlement like soon. They go to settlement another day or two. What Marquise has done, this is just an example. I don't recommend you doing this, but they wholesaled the deal to Marquise. They go to settlement in about 2 days. The auction was about a month ago. Marquise went in there. Guess what Marquise did, Keith?
Wholesaled it again?
Marquise went in there and completely renovated the property. He hasn't even gone to settlement yet. So now by the time he goes to settlement, he can get a tenant in there and do it. He's going to pay cash, do a DSCR loan, pay his, and then just pay himself back. I've done that before too. It's highly risky. I don't recommend it, but he did do that.
It's a Baltimore property.
Yeah, he got off Ashland Auctions. Somebody put it under contract, wholesaled it to him because they know the areas that he likes, and so they found the property, and he completely renovated.
Can't hear you.
All right, you can hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you guys should be able to hear me now. But anyway, the marketing is the key, you guys. The marketing is the key. You got to get in front of people. We got to get deals. And then we figure out how to make it a deal. If it's not a deal, you guys are going to run into a lot of deals that are true deals that you can just do the traditional wholesaling or if you want to flip, hold, whatever you want to do. But what I'm suggesting is when you run across something that appears to be a tough deal and the numbers appear not to work, let me just take a look at it and let's see if we can do some type of creative financing to make it a deal. And to be honest with you, there's investors across the country. Most of you guys know I'm part of this mastermind. And we had a meeting about a month ago, and a lot of investors across the country, as a business practice, that's all they do is creative financing. They never ever go out and get a loan for anything. They don't go out and get a loan for their buy and holds, for the flips, for the wholesale. They don't get a loan for anything. That's just what they do, and they just try to be creative. I follow this guy named Pace Morby. Have you guys, anybody here heard of Pace Morby? Pace, Pacy, Morby, Morby. He's in my mastermind, and he's like one of the top creative financing guys in the country. And a lot of these strategies I've done over the years, but not as a normal practice. And he's kind of mastered. And so Candace has, okay. Looks like Kimberly has too. Good. And so follow him. A lot of these strategies I've gotten off of him, but I've been doing and teaching creative financing for years. But that's where we are in this market, you guys, because it's tough getting loans. And as I was telling Marquise today, he's a subject to guy. It's too cash intensive to try to buy up a lot of properties to buy and hold using either your own money or hard money is expensive these days. And so we need to be creative and use the seller's financing, let that stay on the property as long as we can until interest rates get better, and they might not get better for like another year, maybe two. And so we want to make sure that when we do the subject to, if we're going to do a subject to, or the owner financing, that we extend that opportunity for at least 2 to 3 years. I've been writing on contracts 10 years. I've been writing on contracts 10 years. And the sellers, they've been accepting it because they want to sell, and they don't find a way out. And some of them need to sell for a certain price because of the mortgage balance. So, any questions, you guys? I'll take a deep dive. Those of you guys who will be with us on Saturday, I'll take a deep dive into creative financing. I will show you guys real life properties that are available to buy and how you can buy them using creative financing. Hopefully one is property in Capitol Hill. Hopefully another one we look at is the 4-unit building that I'm talking about. And then we'll have another one. So Kimberly is asking, what percentage do listing agents normally get? That's a good question, Kimberly, for a lot of different reasons. And I'll go over that on Saturday too. But I mean, listing agents get between 5 and 6%. But Kimberly, that has changed recently. So the commissions have recently changed through litigation that National Association of Realtors is in right now as we speak. But the whole real estate industry has changed in terms of commissions. We won't really see the effect of it for about another year or two, but it's changed where just kind of briefly, now the listing agent or the seller doesn't have to pay the buyer's commission. That just passed. But I'll take a deep dive on that on Saturday as well, which means now the buyer, if the seller or the seller's agent isn't offering to pay the buyer's agent anything, now the buyer has to pay the buyer's agent, and the seller is paying the listing agent. Prior to like a week ago, the seller paid both the buyer's agent and their agent, the seller's agent, the listing agent. But just about a week ago, all that changed. But we'll talk about that on Saturday. All right. Anything else, you guys? Any questions, comments, anything? You guys should be excited. I just opened up a whole new world for you guys.
Yeah.
Now there's more opportunity. Yeah. And we're going to get these deals. We're going to get these deals. And so it says for the private lenders, do they require 20%? No. And that's the purpose of using them. No, they don't. But even if they did, we would be putting the 20% in there anyway, because we're keeping the seller's mortgage on the property. And so it's very low risk for them. All right, let me read Kim's real quick. If one does a sub-2 on a previously listed property, is there a need to compensate the listing agent? I don't think so. I mean, you would want to kind of run that by me, but I don't think so. If it's previously listed, if it's not listed anymore, then no, the listing agent doesn't receive anything.
Right.
It's not listed anymore. But run that by me, Kim. You can call me in the morning. Run that by me. I just want to make sure, just ask a few questions. If you've seen the property while it was listed, but it's not listed anymore, then some listing agents will put in their listing agreement that if someone that they showed the property to while it was listed comes and buys the property we normally put 30 days after the property was listed, but they actually saw the property while it was listed, then the seller still owes that agent a commission. And so those are the kind of questions I would want to ask just to make sure. All right, I think that's it, Keith.
Okay. Good questions tonight. And I think that strategy will help us all, find property, get in front of those deals.
Yeah, let's get in front of more people, you guys. We can even pool our money together and do some deals together. But let's not let any opportunity get away from us without us putting our heads together and trying to figure out how it can be a deal. Now, in a lot of situations, we won't be able to make it a deal, but let's at least try. Let's put our heads together and see what could work out for us. Okay. All right, Keith, that's all I got. You guys take care. Those of you guys that are in our coaching program, we will see you guys on Saturday. We got some really good properties to take a look at. And those of you that are not in our coaching program, why aren't you? We're providing deals for you. Talked about private lenders, all those kinds of things. Contact Keith. You can contact me or Keith. DM us. Or you can actually schedule an appointment with Keith at kbschedule.com. That's kbschedule.com. And we'll be happy to sit down with you guys and that aren't in our program and just see how we can help you. The rest of you guys, try to be available on Saturday. It won't be long. I think starting next month, we'll go back to networking at a nice lunch. I don't think I'm gonna have time this Saturday. But I think you'll get a lot out of Saturday. And we're going to start at 9 or 10, Keith?
It's getting cooler, so we don't need the early start unless you want. We start at 9 or 10.
Anybody 9? Have I like 9, so by the time we're done, we still got the whole day ahead of us.
Right. Let's do that then. I'll announce it for 9 o'clock.
But it doesn't matter. Okay. All right, you guys, take care. Between now and Saturday, if you guys have any properties you want me to go look at, or properties that you want me to run the numbers for you, just let me know. Tamika is saying that there was 10 o'clock.
I did send out something earlier today, but I can change the time.
Well, let me see, 10, 11. Yeah, either way, it will fit in my schedule. So whatever you decide.
All right.
Okay, you guys, take care. God bless. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Okay.
Let's make some money, you guys, but you've got to start marketing. You got to get in front of people.
Right.
All right. So let it be 9. Kim and Tamika said 9. So let's get it.
Okay. Since they said 9 o'clock, that's what it'll be.
Yeah. But I don't want Kim to think that since she's new, she can come in here and start bossing us around. Okay. This is for Tamika, Kim, not you. You too new to be making the name. I'm just messing with you, Kim.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Alice, you make sure you're available too, Alice.
Mm-hmm.
All right, you guys, take care.
Good night.
All right, good night.